I'm Pete Daniel, and I live in the Tamar Valley on the border of Devon and Cornwall. Join me on my adventures in the Tamar Valley as I try and show you some of the wildlife I love to see and film. As well as other projects me and my family undertake on our daily routines. Join me this week as I get back home to check to see if I've got anything on my trail cameras from down at the Mash. The weather turns nasty in the Tamar Valley, so I concentrate on one of the jobs I can do inside to get another project underway. I go down to the wood to set up some of my trail cameras to see what's about, and I bump into one of my favourite animals. Before I get back to the weir, where any hopes of seeing any wildlife are soon dashed, as I discover some sad news for my trail camera. It's a beautiful start to the day in the Tamar Valley, and all the signs of spring are starting to show. But my first job is to get back home with my trail cameras from the Mash to see if I have anything of the frogs spawning. Right, okay, well I've come back from the Mash with the trail cameras. I tried to turn the camera on when I was down there to see if I'd have got anything on the camera, but I think because the cameras have been out for 3 or 4 days in this cold weather, it's drained the batteries, because as soon as I turned the camera on, the camera came on and then went straight off again. So I've had to wait till I come home to see if we got any results on these cards. So hopefully, fingers crossed, this is a moment of truth. Right, put the card in the machine. Wait for that to load up and see what we got. Right, okay, let's pick up the card, open that up. Right, okay, well we've got 4 videos. We've got one nighttime one, but we've got a couple daytime ones. I think this is me probably setting up the camera. Let's just have a quick look, see. Right, okay, yeah, this is me setting the camera up. Just getting in position over the Mash where I want it to be. Okay, right, so that's me set. Let's see what the next one is. Yeah, okay, that's me moving the camera around. So obviously I've tied the camera off and now I've set it up over the top of the water where I want it to face. Right, so that's me setting up. Let's see what this nighttime one is. Right, okay. I can't see anything happening. I'll just scroll through quite quickly on the camera. See if we got anything. No, I can't see nothing at all on there. I think what's happening here is because it's raining quite heavily, as the water droplets are hitting the surface of the water, it's bouncing up, and I think that's what set the sensor off. The motion of the water bouncing back up. Right, okay. Right, camera number 1, nothing. Okay, we've got 2 more chances. Let's try camera number 2. Put the card in and see what we got. Hopefully, fingers crossed. Right, let's pick up the card. See what we got. Open that card up. Oh. Well, this is even worse than the last one. We've only got 2 videos on here. Right, okay. Well, one's a nighttime one, so let's have a look and see what's going on. Right, okay. I can't see anything so far. I think, again, this is because it's so windy. So windy, it's set the camera off. The weed in front of the camera is blowing around. Let me just scroll through quite quickly. I can see the frog spawn underneath the water, the original frog spawn that was there. Can't see anything that's fresh. No, nothing at all. Okay, scroll through. Nothing. Right, okay, well I think that's because it's the wind that set it off. Yeah, right, here's a daytime one. You can see my other camera up in the top left hand corner. And there's the frog spawn in front of the camera. That's the original stuff. There's something at the back here, but I can't be too sure how fresh that is. Right, okay, well it doesn't look like we've got anything on this camera. Just scroll through quite quickly. Right, don't look like we've got anything on there. It's the last camera now I'm going to try. And he's up in the top left hand corner, as you can see in that picture there. So, I've got to be honest, I'm not going to be too hopeful about this because they were in the same position. And that camera was looking out over the same area as this camera. So if we've not got nothing on there, I'm pretty sure we ain't going to have nothing on here. If I can get the card at the camera. Right, let's have a look. It's a little bit disappointing so far, but this is something that I wanted to try this year, and this is it. You don't get it right first time all the time. So hopefully, if I try this again in the future... Oh, hang on a minute. Oh, hang on a minute. We've got some here. Yeah, we've got quite a few. We've got quite a few videos here. Let's have a little looky-see. Right. I can't see anything, but I can hear them. You hear that? You hear that? That's the frogs. Oh, there's a frog in the middle of the screen. There, he's just come up in the middle of the screen. That's absolutely brilliant. We've got a frog in the middle of the camera. It's just come up. There he goes. Hopped off. Oh, that's brilliant. Right, what else have we got there? Right. Oh, yeah, another frog just come in. Oh, there's two. There's a frog right in the middle of the camera, and one's just coming on the right hand side. Brilliant. There you go, move towards the camera. Oh, that's brilliant. Really pleased. Oh, well, it worked. I managed to get some frogs on the screen in front of the trail camera to try and show you the spawning. I haven't got anything of the frogs spawning, but I got quite a few frogs in front of the camera, and that's absolutely brilliant. I'm really pleased with this. It's fantastic. Something I wanted to try, and it's worked. I didn't think we were going to get it, but in the end, we got it. Absolutely brilliant. Well, that was brilliant to see some of the frogs on my trail cameras. I'm so pleased with that. Absolutely brilliant. But now the weather's turned really nasty in the Tamar Valley, and I can't do all outside. But there is one thing I can do to get ready for the spring. Right, okay, well, with the storm coming through the Tamar Valley, there's not really a lot I can do outside. It's too wet and windy. So today I've been up to the garden and brought back one of my bird boxes. Now, I brought it back because I want to get it ready for the nesting season. So, as you can see inside, it needs a bit of a clean out. There, look, you can see all the debris and whatnot in there, cobwebs and everything else. And I've got to clean that out, ready for the nesting birds to go back in there. So when I've got that cleaned out and it's ready for the nesting birds, before I put it back together and take it back up the garden, there's one more thing I want to do. And that's put one of these little nest box cameras in there. Let's see, little tiddly little thing it is, but I've bought myself two of these. And it will sit on the back of the bird box quite nicely, just like that. So it's not in the way of the birds coming in and out of the box. And I can tilt it down, and hopefully it'll look down into the nesting area, and I may even get some shots of the parent birds coming in and out feeding the chicks. That'd be really good, so fingers crossed for that. But my first job is to get this clean before I can do anything else. And then I'll set the camera up. I've got my laptop here ready, and hopefully I'll be able to show you what it looks like inside the box, ready to go for the nesting season. Right, well, that's the camera installed into the bird box, so I'm just waiting for the laptop to fire up, and then what I'm going to do is connect the camera to the laptop, and hopefully I'll be able to show you the camera working inside the box. Right, okay, well, the laptop's ready and fired up, the camera's in the box ready to go. All I've got to do now is connect some leads, and hopefully, fingers crossed, something will happen. Right. What's happening? Flicker? Right, nothing yet. Right, okay. Might help if I turn the power on to the camera. Right, that's on. Anything or nothing? Oh, yeah. Oh, God, blimey. You don't want to see that too often. Woo! Right, let's move the camera down in the box where I want it to go. So point them down around to the base. Well, hopefully the bird's just going to be nesting. Right. Now that looks pretty good to me. That's looking centre down into the box. That's pretty good. I'm happy with that. Right, okay. The next thing I want to do now is to focus the camera in. So I've borrowed one of Daisy's pencils, but don't tell her, alright? Okay, and what I'm going to do is put that into the bird box, and hopefully you'll see that on the screen, and then I'll be able to focus it in. Right, okay, let's put that in the box. There you are, you can just see the pencil now. Right, that's pretty clear there, that's pretty good. Just give it a little twirl, see what happens. Right, that's quite clear there, I'm happy with that. Right, okay, let's see about further down in the box. See what it's like down the base of the box. Oh, it's still not too bad. Yeah, that's not too bad, a little bit fuzzy, just let me give it a little turn. Well, that's pretty good there, I think. Yeah, I'm happy with that. I don't think I'm going to get it much better than that, so I'm going to keep it like that. So hopefully now I'll be able to see the birds nice and clear in the bottom of the box. That'd be really good. Right, okay, well I'm happy with that. Take the pencil out, shut all this down, put the lid back on, and then my bird box is ready to go back up to the garden. And hopefully, fingers crossed, we'll see some birdies nested in there this year, and that'd be really, really good. Well, that's a good job done. And my boxes are now ready to go back up to the garden. And hopefully we'll see some nesting birds. Fingers crossed. Right, okay, well I'm back up in the shed, I'm back up at Pond Tank, and I just wanted to show you the progress of what's going on in there with the frog spawn. We're about day 15, and 90% of the little tadpoles have hatched out into the jelly. It's absolutely brilliant. You have a look at this, fantastic to see. Right, well I think that's absolutely brilliant to see the little tadpoles coming out the jelly like that and feeding like that. They'll do that for the first few days of their life. Then what they'll do, they'll leave the jelly and they'll go off looking for food elsewhere. And that's when I've got to start feeding them. But what I want to do now is try and show you the tadpoles from a different angle. Well, how's he going to do that, you say? Right, well, I've gone and bought myself a little underwater camera. I've got a couple of projects I want to try it this year. So I'm going to try it on Pond Tank first. And hopefully I'll lower this into the water very, very gently. And hopefully I'll get some shots of the little tadpoles in there wiggling away on the jelly. And that'd be absolutely brilliant. Right, let's set it up and give it a go. So fingers crossed, eh? Well, do you know, I think that's absolutely brilliant to be able to do that. Absolutely brilliant to see the tadpoles in there like that. Right, I'm going to leave them alone now for a few days, and then I'm going to come back and put some weed in there and whatnot for them, because hopefully by then they should be swimming around the tank, and I'll be able to show you that. And that'd be absolutely brilliant. Right, okay, we had 5 minutes break of rain in the Tamar Valley, so I decided to come up the garden this afternoon, and I've put my bird boxes on the back of the shed. I've bored 2 holes through the back of the shed so I can take the cables from the cameras that I put in the boxes in to connect up to my laptop. And now the rain's come back again. Let's go and have a look at that. Follow me, come on. God, dear, well, I'm glad to get in the shed out of the way because the rain just started coming down brave and heavy. Right, I've already got the laptop set up, and I've got the program set up ready to go. So what I'm going to do now is connect up the laptop to the leads that come through the back of the shed, look, and that's from the bird boxes, one set there and one set over there. They meet in the middle, and all I've got to do then is plug in these cables, and hopefully, fingers crossed, I'm still working. Here we are, put the power on from the battery to the box. Here we go, we should get a picture come up on the screen. Yeah, here you go. There you on it. There you go. And you can see inside the box, that's nicely centered in the box. So anything that comes in there should nest right in the middle of that box, and we should see some chicks hopefully next month when the birds start nesting. Right, that's box 1. Right, I'm just going to change over to box 2 just to make sure that camera's still working since I set them up. There's a bit of a time delay on these boxes, I found. Put the power in, about 10-15 seconds. Right, connect the leads up, and hopefully, there you go, this is box number 2. There you are. You can see into that one as well. So both boxes are working, so hopefully, fingers crossed, next month, hopefully I'll be able to show you some birds nesting in my boxes and see some chicks, and that'll be absolutely brilliant. That's ideal that my bird boxes is up and the cameras is working. So now I just hope some of the birds come and nest in at least one of them, so I can show you that. But now I can't do no more here, so I'm back off down to the weir. But first I'm going to set out some of my cameras down at the wood to see what's about. Right, okay, I've got to talk a little bit quiet. As I was walking down through the woods setting up my trail cameras, I spotted some road deer at the top of the wood. So I've managed to sneak up over, and the road is just down in front of me. I'm going to try and sneak up over this mound as quiet as I can and try and get some shots to show you these road deer. They ain't very far in front of me. I've got to get my mask on, cover my face up, get my hat back on. Right, I'm going to try and get up a little bit closer and try and show you these road deer. I'm going to sneak away now, leave them alone, go back down and put some trail cameras up. That's absolutely brilliant. Right, okay, well I've set up 3 of my trail cameras down the wood today. I've set one up down the farm end to see if I can get anything down there. I've got one in the middle of the wood where the badger set is, and I've got one down this end of the wood. Now the reason I've set it up here is because there's a trail that comes right along the top of the wood, so someone's using it quite regular. So I've set the camera down low to this trail, so if anything comes along it should set the camera off and we should get it eye level. I'm hoping it's going to be a fox, because what I want to try and do is find out what the foxes is doing, because in a month or so's time the foxes are going to start to have their young, and what I really want to do is try and film some of the fox cubs this year. That'd be really, really good. But I'm going to leave this one alone now and come back in a week's time and see what results we got. But I'm going to go down to the valley now, down to the river, and follow the river down and get to the weir. I'm going to check that camera I set up over a week ago. So fingers crossed we got some results on there. I'm looking forward to this. Well, do you know, a lot of people says to me, why do you get up so early to go and see the wildlife? My answer, well, it's simple really. What else is I supposed to do? Lie in bed all day? No, not me. I gotta be out, looking for the wildlife, because I loves it. Right, okay, well I followed the river down to the weir, and as you can hear and see, there's still a fair drop of water coming down over. Of course, we've got all that rain with all the storms and everything coming through the Tamar Valley. So I'm not expecting to see that shot of the fox coming across the top of the weir like I would have hoped. But it's that time of the year when the salmon are still running, so I may have got a salmon jumping up over the weir. Who knows? Well, do you know, this is very, very sad. Very, very sad news for this trail camera, I'm afraid. This is a first for me. We haven't got any results on this camera, and for one reason. I came down to the weir to get the camera off and see what happened. As I got to the weir, I come down over the bank to stand on the weir, and behind me I found some batteries in the river. Of course, I felt terrible because I thought I must have dropped them in there when I come down to set the camera up. So I picked them up and put them in my pocket. I went to open the camera up and turn the camera on. Nothing happened. I thought, well, that's understandable. It's been down here over a week. The batteries have probably been flat. Of course, we had the cold weather and everything. So I took the camera off where I had it mounted onto the tree beside the weir. And as I took it off, I thought, cool, that feels a bit light. I took the back of the camera off, look where the batteries is to, and it's empty. Somebody's come down here and messed around with my camera. And how do I know that that's happened? Because that's why these batteries was in the river. One, because I dropped them. Someone's took them out and thrown them in the river. And also they've taken the memory card as well. So someone's been down here doing something they shouldn't be. Well, they shouldn't even be down here. They haven't got permission to be down here. But they've messed around my camera. And as much as that makes me mad, it also makes me very, very disappointed and upset. Because I didn't expect that to happen down here. No one should be down here. But it ain't going to stop me. I'm going to take this camera back. I'm going to clean it up, I'm going to put batteries in it, and I'll bring it back down to the river, and I'll put it back on that weir. And when I do it, I shall put a padlock on here as well, and then they shan't be able to get in there. But it's very, very upsetting and that's happened. Very upsetting indeed. Well, that's very sad and disappointing about what's happened to my trail camera down at the weir. But I won't give up trying to show you some of the wildlife around the river. But now it's a new day in the Tamar Valley, and there's better news back at home in the shed with Pond Tank. Well, do you know, I think this is absolutely brilliant. I've just come in the shed this morning to check on a pond tank and see how the tadpoles is getting on. Of course, they only hatched out about 2 days ago. Now, already, as you can see, look, I've got several stuck to the side of the fish tank. They've left the jelly, and I'm stuck on the side of the tank. So obviously I'm swimming around. There's lots of movement in there on the jelly as well. It's absolutely brilliant. You have a quick look in here, look, I'll show you. Well, there you go. I think that's absolutely brilliant to see that. I love watching the frogs spawn hatching out and the tadpoles developing right through to the froggies. Then of course at the end we can release them back down the mash, and that's absolutely brilliant. I love doing it in the tank because if I can help some of these tadpoles survive, absolutely fantastic. Because you imagine this was in the wild, you'd lose most of these tadpoles. Of course you've got predators in the water that eat them, and then obviously at this stage the weather can affect them as well, because the heavy rain can come down and knock the tadpoles off that jelly if they're in shallow water. Of course that jelly is their food supplement when they're first born. If they don't have that, they're not going to survive. Then of course you've got the cold weather, the frost on the ground, the water can freeze, and the ice, that'll kill the tadpoles as well. So at least in here I can help a few more of they survive and turn into froggies. Absolutely brilliant. Do you know what? I used to love doing this when I was a boy, going down to the mash and finding the frog spawn and watching it all the way through. I'm 41 this year and I still get excited about it now. But I think it's absolutely brilliant. Right, I got to get on, so I'm going to leave them to it. Well, join me next time as I go down to the marsh to see how the tadpoles is doing. And my daughter Daisy comes along and helps out by collecting weed for our pond tank. A friend of mine asked if I can help with a project for a little animal around the Weir Peninsula, and we get to work up at the garden whilst the sun is shining and the weather is good. And I get to the next stage of the chicken project before I go down to the woods to collect in my trail cameras.